Hey guys, welcome to today's session. I would like to run a quick audio and visual check because I keep getting warnings that my internet speed is super slow. Something's happening on my estate right now. There's work being done, and I think they've affected the broadband lines. Now, I've been having this issue for the past week or two. And in the last session that I ran, the Discord guys were saying that they were struggling to hear me and that my audio was breaking up. So if somebody in the Discord could be as kind enough to just let me know if you can see my screen and hear me loud and clear, that would be great. I think the stream is running fine on YouTube, X, and Instagram, so we should be all good on that front. But we'll give everybody a moment to sort of join and report any audio issues, and then we'll jump straight in. Vincenzo, how we doing? Hope you're all good. I'm presuming that my audio is okay. I'm getting warning signs on Discord. Please let me know, guys, as we go forward. If I start breaking up or my audio starts cutting out, please do let me know. Vincenzo saying it's all good on YouTube, so I think the issue is primarily on Discord. So if you need to move across from Discord to YouTube, I will put a link. I will put a link in the chat just so that you guys can head over there. If I can find the link, view on YouTube. Let's take a look. Okay, so all of the guys in the Discord, if, like I say, if the audio starts cutting out or my screen isn't quite catching up with what I'm saying, please feel free to jump onto the YouTube link and be able to watch it on there. Vincenzo, I won't be able to analyze the Darwin today. This is a welcome session, so I don't usually do Darwin analysis today. However, tomorrow at 4 p.m. I will be doing Darwin analysis, so you feel free to join that session, and we can spend the whole hour where I go through your Darwin and take a look at the metrics there. So I apologize that we can't go through it today. But like I say, tomorrow's session, we can spend the whole hour looking at your metrics and looking at your strategy. Anyway, guys, again, if you've just joined, you'll see that there's a loading screen. I'm having internet issues at the moment, so I do apologize. You haven't missed too much. This is simply a slide with my picture of myself on, saying who I am. My name's Kieran, and I'm head of UK Growth and Business Development here at Darwinex. If you don't know who Darwinex is, we are a regulated asset manager and a regulated broker. We have a head office in Madrid, a head office in the UK down in London, and we're regulated by three separate entities. We're regulated in the UK by the FCA, by the CNMV in Spain, and also by the FSA in the Seychelles. We currently have over 100 million US dollars in total AUM invested on the platform, and we have over 10,000 active strategies. That includes through Darwinex, Darwinex Zero, and all of the traders that are still in the calibration phase. Our goal as a company is to empower traders to raise capital. Our only job as a company is to bring capital to traders and bring fantastic trading talent to investors for this flywheel effect where every party in the flywheel benefits one another. Now, you might be wondering, what is Darwinex Zero? There are many people who've never heard of Darwinex Zero before, although they may have come from Darwinex or heard of Darwinex in the past and know that we are a broker. So what makes Darwinex Zero different is that we offer you everything that you can get at Darwinex with zero risk. So we give you the only place in the industry where you can become a professional asset manager trading with real investor capital with zero risk. And the zero risk doesn't just stand with capital. Of course, there's no risk to your physical capital outside of your subscription fee because you don't have to deposit into a live broker account. But there's zero risk of doing any extra work. You don't have to network with investors. You don't have to learn sales and raise capital. You don't have to worry about regulation. So there's zero risk of any regulatory issues, any networking issues, or anything like that, because Darwinex handles all of that on your behalf. All you have to do when you're at Darwinex or Darwinex Zero is simply trade. We allow you to develop as a trader using our advanced strategy insights and statistics. Now, we do have some industry leading statistics and metrics on our dashboard for both Zero and Darwinex Exchange clients, which I usually go over for a full hour on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. I usually take somebody from the audience and I analyze their Darwin or their trading account live for them on that session. What that means is that they get some real-time feedback into what they're doing well, what if there's any low-hanging fruits for them to potentially try and capitalize on. And we go through all of the metrics that we have on both platforms. And last but not least, we have a community of like-minded traders. We like to do things the right way here at Darwinex, and so do our traders. So we have a huge community full of people all striving towards the long-term success that trading can bring. Nothing, no overnight riches or Lambo boys around here. We focus on real growth over time. And stand up as well. Now, before we get into actually how things work and how you can make money with Darwinex, I want to highlight the process that Darwinex puts in place to make your trading investable. So we have a trader and they can trade through Zero or Classic. Makes no difference to us. The infrastructure is all the same. The companies are all the same. They are just separated out to offer different yet the same services, if that makes sense. We provide you with a trading account, which will either be MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. Your trades all go through our proprietary risk engine, where the risk engine manages and monitors your exposure as a trader and will either scale your strategy up or scale your strategy down from a risk perspective to create your Darwin, which is essentially an index version of your trading strategy. Now, that's akin to the S&P 500 being an indexed version of the top 500 companies in the US. Your Darwin is an index of all your trades, okay, which an investor can buy into as an asset itself. Now, the Darwin is what is exposed to the index, which we'll get onto shortly, to the investors, the DarwinIA allocations, and the permanent allocations. All of your AUM gets held at the risk-adjusted level because your Darwin is a real licensed investable asset that gets published on our investor marketplace. What that means is it can actually be accessed by real investors because the Darwin is held at our asset management level, meaning your trading signals paired with our risk engine means that you have an investable asset. To do that outside of Darwinex, you're going to have to become regulated. You're going to have to find investors, which not only is going to take a lot of time, it's also going to cost you a significant amount of money to get regulated and stay regulated. Now, when I say become a professional asset manager, we have laid out a roadmap of how to do this. And don't get me wrong, it takes time, but nothing in life is free. You have to work hard at anything that you want to be successful at. So we have laid out kind of a year minimum roadmap to becoming a professional asset manager. And that's considering you already know how to trade and you already have a positive expectancy over an extended period of time. Now, the initial phase that you go through when you open an account with Darwinex Zero is something called the calibration phase. And this isn't a pass or fail test. It's not an assessment. It's just a period of time with a minimum of 15 trading days. So we're looking at 3 weeks as a minimum, where our proprietary risk engine watches how you trade, calculates your exposure, and understands how to adjust it when your Darwin is then created and goes live. As I mentioned, it lasts for roughly 3 weeks and it isn't a pass or fail assessment. You just have to keep trading, and when you come out of the calibration phase, think of it like a graduation. You don't pass or fail, you simply graduate to the next level. When your Darwin is live, you get exposure to the first 2 steps on this roadmap. So the first step, and there is going to be a new step added to this soon. So I will have to add a new step to the roadmap very soon when we release our boosters, which will be temporary capital allocations, but more on that at a later date. But the first step is our permanent allocations. This is exactly what it says on the tin. It's an allocation that sits on your account permanently and never gets pulled. The only way you will ever lose your permanent allocation is if you stop paying for your subscription to Darwinex Zero and stop trading your account. Now, the permanent allocation is 100,000 euros that will be allocated to your Darwin and will stay there regardless of drawdowns or how long it takes you to generate a return. All profits will be paid out on a high watermark basis, and we have different growth targets that we'll go through in a moment. I actually have a slide which shows all of the different growth targets that we offer for the permanent allocations. The next step is DarwinIA Silver. Now, DarwinIA Silver is our first phase of our monthly leaderboard in the DarwinIA program. So we do have silver and gold. I'll cover gold in a moment. But in DarwinIA Silver, it's run as a monthly competition between every single trader in the silver category, which roughly at the moment I think is about 8,500 traders. And there's also about 300 traders in gold, and the rest of the traders are all in the calibration phase. Now, the DarwinIA Silver is run based on a leaderboard, which it takes into account your current month's return, your previous 5 months return, and your previous 6 months drawdown. So it's taking a look or a snapshot of your most recent 6 months trading history to generate you a score. Any score above 75 will earn you an allocation in that given month, meaning that each month you can continue to earn allocations if you're trading well. In silver, the allocations range from 30,000 euros all the way up to 375,000 euros, dependent on your score, and they all last for 3 months. When you get promoted to DarwinIA Gold, the rating system changes slightly. Instead of having a rating based on the 3 metrics that I explained just for silver, it's all about your current month's return. You've already proven yourself as a consistent trader at this point, so we take the top performing traders out of the 300 and we rank them by the current month's return. Whoever generates the highest return will get the highest allocation, and so on and so forth. The allocations in gold go from 50k to all the way up to 500,000 euros, and they last for 6 months instead of 3 months. Now, what's important to note is the DarwinIA allocations, regardless of silver or gold, are cumulative, so they can stack up over months. So you can have one last month, you can have one this month, and you can have one in the following month. On the 4th month, the first one will drop off for silver, or on the 7th month for gold, the first one will drop off. However, you can keep stacking them up over time. Also in DarwinIA Gold, you get exposed to the investor marketplace, which means that investors can actually come in and allocate capital to your strategy at this point. Now, to get to DarwinIA Gold, you have to hit a few performance milestones. So your track record has to be an absolute minimum of 8 months in length. So you have to be trading for 2/3 of the year before you can even move to gold. You have to hit a minimum return of 20%, and you need a minimum return to drawdown ratio of 2.5. That means if you have a 20% return, your drawdown can't be any higher than 8%. If you've got a 25% return, your drawdown can't be higher than 10%, and so on and so forth. The next rung on the ladder the next step in our roadmap is the investors and prop. Now, the investor marketplace, as I said, allows any investors to come on and autonomously allocate their capital to traders on the Darwinex marketplace. There's no need for you to go on and do any promotion work. You just need to trade. The better you perform, the higher chance you will have at attracting capital from investors. The prop is Darwinex Labs. So we have our own prop desk in-house where we allocate capital to traders to kind of get them to prove their worth before we include them in our hedge fund, which is the last rung on the ladder of the Darwinex fund, or otherwise known as the INDX or INDX. The INDX is our in-house hedge fund, again, ran by Darwinex Labs, which is a portfolio of Darwins. We currently have about 150 of our top performing Darwins where we allocate our own and external capital to them to try and have a fairer distribution of investment capital. That works, like I say, simultaneously with the prop desk. The prop desk is where we allocate smaller amounts of capital to more Darwins, even before they're matured enough that we would allocate them into the hedge fund. And we do that for a few different reasons, but one of the main ones is to make sure that the trader can manage investment capital and that their behavior doesn't change. If they pass all of our checks on the back end of what we look for an investable Darwin, and they pass the test on the prop desk, there's a very, very high likelihood that they will then get promoted to be in the index, and we will allocate proper, true hedge fund capital to them in the index. And just to recap on each phase, we have the calibration phase, where a trader signs up and takes approximately 3 trading weeks. And then once their Darwin progresses from the calibration phase, they then become eligible for allocations. But just to take note again for the people who've joined since I explained this, the calibration phase isn't a pass or fail assessment. It's just for our risk engine to be able to understand what risk level or what exposure level that you operate to generate a return. DarwinIA Silver and Gold, there are two different levels to our monthly competition. And this works in addition to your permanent allocations, your boosters, your investor capital, and any capital from the index or the Darwinex Labs prop desk. The Darwinex Silver rating-based leaderboard works as follows. So you have your current month's return, previous 5 months return, and previous 6 months drawdown, all thrown into a calculation, which spits out your rating. Any rating above 75 will earn you an allocation in silver for that month. Again, they last for 3 months in silver and 6 months in gold, and you don't have the same calculation for gold. It is purely based on your current month's return. Your permanent allocation is a completely optional add-on. You don't have to have this, although a large amount of our traders have already activated a permanent allocation on their account. It's been a hugely successful launch. We launched it, got to be coming up to a year ago now. I think it was November, maybe December last year. I think it was the back end of last year. And it's been one of the most well-received products or add-ons that we've ever released at DarwinX Zero, because it solves a huge problem that people wanted, and that is capital being allocated to them permanently. So you don't have to be scared of going through a drawdown or, you know, being inactive for a period of time. As long as your subscription is active to your DarwinX Zero account, that 100K permanent allocation will stay there forever. Now, we do have different options that you can choose when activating the add-on. You have the instant allocation option, which is the most expensive, but that means it's active instantly. So as soon as you've purchased the permanent allocation, the 100K will then be active. So on your very next trade, that will be earning performance fees. We then have the growth targets option from 5, 10, 15, or 20%. What that means is if you choose one of those options, you would then have to make the 5, 10, 15, or 20% at Darwin level before the €100,000 is allocated to the account. So if I purchased a 5% growth target and my Darwin was at 100, so let's say I hadn't made a trade, I would have to get to 105 before the 100K was active, and that would be my new high watermark from there. Something that not a lot of people know that we offer is a seamless transition from DarwinX Zero to DarwinX. So if you decide at any point during your journey with Zero that you no longer want to pay a subscription, but you still want your account, you still want your track record, and you still want to trade with DarwinX, you can migrate your track record from Zero to live. What that means is you can open a live account with our broker DarwinX. You can deposit your live capital in there. And what we will do is we will move your track record from your virtual account over to your live account, meaning that you can still trade and you don't lose your track record and all the benefits that you had with us trading at Zero. The great thing with that is you don't pay any more monthly subscriptions because you're now paying broker commissions, which are live. Of course, we are a broker. Broker commissions is how a broker makes money. It's completely down to you as the client whether you wanted to make that switch. We would never pressure you. We would never give you preferential treatment depending on what side of the coin that you're on. We're just happy you're here for the ride. The end goal is investor capital. We give you short-term rewards throughout the way with the permanent allocations and the DarwinIA allocations, but ultimately every trader has the end goal, which is scaling their investor capital. Simply put, it doesn't matter whether you come through Zero or Classic, which is DarwinX Exchange. The only difference between the two is how you pay for the service, subscription model or broker commission model. We also, as I mentioned, provide you with some industry-leading trading statistics and insights. Again, I run weekly sessions on Wednesday at 4 p.m. So I'll be going live tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time, where we do a live analysis of a Darwin or a trader for roughly 1 hour. Meaning I go through all of their metrics that are on their platform on both DarwinX Zero and on DarwinX 2, because there are some differences. If you've never logged into DarwinX using your Zero login, I highly recommend doing so because there are a lot more metrics on there for you to explore and certain ones that aren't on Zero, which is fantastic. But again, if you haven't done that before, all of our sessions are uploaded to YouTube, so you can go back and watch some of our old strategy development sessions, or you can come tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time and watch us live. You can even come and have your Darwin analyzed live if you wish. I think I have Vincenzo lined up for tomorrow, but I do them every week, so you know, don't be scared. You'll miss out on the opportunity to get yours analyzed because I'm here every week doing it. Now, something I want to mention before we finish off the session, I've already mentioned the proprietary risk engine that we have running at Darwinex, all of our clients and all of our trading accounts. You can see in real time exactly what your value at risk is and how the risk engine is perceiving your exposure. So your value at risk, I'm not going to go too much into it. I do this a specific session for your risk exposure on a Thursday, which is called Understanding Your Darwin. And we go through all the intricacies of the risk engine, your exposure, your VAR, and all of that sort of stuff. I just want to give a brief glimpse into what this is now. This is an organic living and breathing chart which measures your exposure in real time. As your trading activity develops, your VAR will decrease or increase based on the amount of exposure that you're taking. You can see the big fat white line across that says 6.5%. That is the level of exposure that all Darwins are risk adjusted to when you trade at Darwinex or Darwinex Zero. Our risk engine takes your initial trading strategy and risk adjusts it to 6.5%. And so you can see on this chart, when the trader is above 6.5%, there's some nice arrows pointing down, meaning that the trader is getting scaled down at Darwin. As they go beneath 6.5%, you see the arrows flip, and the trader's size is therefore being scaled up at Darwin level. So it works both ways. Contrary to what you might have heard online before about Darwinex scaling people down. It's all about your exposure. It's an unbiased mechanic to scale up or scale down a trader based on how much risk they take. And finally, before we finish, I just want to ask if anybody has any questions. I haven't had any comments on my audio, which is great because that means hopefully it's been pretty stable throughout. I am going to try and contact my internet provider and see why there has been such a disruption over the past couple of weeks, because it's really bugging me at this point. But like I say, hopefully it's been okay today. I'll just check Instagram, see if we have any comments over there, because they don't pop up on my screen for some reason. Somebody asked on Instagram, so how to be pro. I mean, first step of being pro is start acting like one, even if you're not there yet, right? Get yourself in the mindset of a professional trader. You know, your performance isn't a result of your P&L. It's a result of you following your plan every day. And you know, the better trader is somebody who does the same thing every day, who stays dedicated to the game, consistent, doing the right things, as opposed to somebody who's focused on making, you know, the best P&L that they can possibly do on any given day. So P&L is an inaccurate reflection of, you know, your professionalism and where you're going. But yeah, just think you're a professional, act like a professional, and, you know, the capital will come. But other than that, guys, I don't think we have any more questions for today. So I will be back at 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow to do the strategy development session. It's my favorite session of the week to run. It's really fun. It's engaging. I, you know, get you guys involved. So if you want to come along for that, I highly, highly recommend it. But if not, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening, morning, day, wherever you are in the world now. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will catch you in the next session. Peace out, guys.